Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday. How's everyone doing today? I, coming on to do my live. Last week I did not do one. I did a lovely grounding meditation for you all. So I hope you enjoyed that. And if you have not used it or listened to it, it is available for you. I can put that link back into the comments of this, or you can scroll down in my page and find it. It's also on SoundCloud if you want to go directly to SoundCloud, to Galen Apt. So that is where I'm keeping my meditations. So today I wanted to talk about self-doubt, self-trust. And I had a whole spiel put together. And then I saw this video this morning, and it kind of got me thinking, and I wanted to talk about it and have it correlate with the self-doubt, self-trust that I'm talking about. It was just very striking. And so I posted it in the group. It was a video from TV12 in Denmark. It's from Denmark. And so I put it in there so you can watch that. And I highly recommend it. I watched it twice today, and it really is amazing. And I actually recommend you watch it more than once so you don't miss anything. You know, first time through, sometimes we can get like, oh, what's going to happen, and we miss things that are actually happening because we're looking forward too fast. So definitely, if you have an opportunity, watch it more than once. And so I'll give you the gist of it if you haven't watched it. The gist is it's just they bring these people into a room, and they've divided them up into groups. In some way. So whether they're nurses, or they save people's lives, or they play sports, they're confident, they're religious, whatever, right? So they divide them up into these groups, and they talk about how we put people in boxes. So we identify their strengths and their weaknesses, and to us, that's the category that they are in, and that's where they stay. And then we decide if we are going to let them into our life or not, or if we want to be a part of their life or not. And then they went on to then start asking questions. So they had all these separated groups. And then they said, okay, who here was the class clown? And then the people from the different groups came out, and they took their picture of the class clowns, and then everyone went back, and then they said, oh my gosh, who here played sports? And, they kept going down this list. Who likes this? Who does that? They kept getting a little deeper. Who's had sex this week? And even to the point of who is bisexual. And it was just fabulous to just watch the reactions of people as the question was asked, and then the people who were willing to step into that and own it stepped forward in front of this large group of strangers to go stand in front and have their picture taken. Basically being put into another box, but a different type of box. And of course, by the end, people realized they actually had more in common than not in common, and where they had been staring at each other suspiciously or kind of nervously and unsure, at the end they were embracing and introducing themselves, and they were talking about all sorts of things that they might not have talked about if they had just made some assumptions about people. And so I really was struck by this, because I'm a big proponent of, don't just take people at face value. Don't just judge them, right? None of us want to be judged, so we shouldn't be judging, which is hard, though, because that's how we classify people. And so I wanted to take this into this whole concept of doubt, right? Uncertainty, questioning everything, having a hard time making decisions, demolishing doubt in your life, right? And so this whole process of unboxing people, which is what they said, unbox yourselves, unbox others. I thought, well, we also need to unbox ourselves, because we all put ourselves, we don't just put everyone else into a box, we put ourselves into a box. And a lot of times, that's one of the biggest reasons we have a hard time making decisions. So just pardon me, this is all just like coming out, stream of consciousness, and it could go horribly off the rails. I had a whole spiel prepared. I have my notes, which I may refer to, and then again, I may not. I just sort of want this, I don't know, I was just struck, my intuition said, this is what you need to talk about today, so this is what I'm talking about today. So anyway, unboxing ourselves, taking ourselves out of that, I can't make a decision. I'm not good at making decisions. I can't do this. I'm not good at that. Or I only do this. I am a straight A student, and that's it. I can play the piano, but I can't play soccer. Well, why? Right? So those boxes we put ourselves in and others in hurts our self-confidence, which creates self-doubt. I mean, no wonder we all struggle with self-doubt so much. And we all do, each and every one of us. But some of us get almost paralyzed by making a decision. And that was something that I really have been struck by. I've known a lot of people who making a decision is just awful, and to the point where they don't make a decision, which I'm sure you've heard. Not making a decision is as big of a decision as actually making the decision, right? And so being able to step into and understanding your self-trust, being able to hear that little voice of guidance inside you, it's important to quiet the noises, quiet the boxes that you have been put in, because the voices of all the people that have ever said, this is what you are, sit in your box with you. And the voices that you have said to other people, that this is what you are, sits in their box with them. And our job now is to quiet those voices in that box, in that little echo chamber, so that we can hear our own voice, so that we can truly go, no, that's not true. I may play the piano really well, but I like to play soccer. By the way, I'm not great at either of those things, but I did try to teach myself piano at one point, and I was on a soccer team in middle school. Was I a great player? No, but it was a team sport, and I tried it, and, I enjoyed it. So that was cool. And was I great at piano? No. Had I had a teacher, I was trying to self-teach myself, and I actually did pretty well, considering it was just in my family room when I was doing the thing. And then I gave the piano back to its rightful owner, and it was fine, though. I mean, I got to try those things. I wasn't phenomenal, but I did them. I even actually became a soccer coach to grade school girls when I was in my 20s. Not because I really was great at soccer or had that much experience, but they needed it, and I'd never done anything like that, and it was one of the most rewarding things I'd ever done. I didn't have kids, but I had a blast coaching these little girls. They were so cute. It was in McLean, Virginia, actually, on their local league. So I had a blast doing that. Anyway, see, I thought this is going to go completely off the rails because I'm not following my notes, and that's okay. Self-doubt, self-trust, quieting the noises in those boxes so that we can then hear our own inner voice and establish that foundation of, okay, it's important to seek advice and guidance from other people at times. And I definitely want to make sure you understand that is super, super important. I'm not saying we should only ever make decisions by ourselves, because I know people who refuse to ask for help, and it's not great for them. They get into a bad place, and then they self-flagellate, and like when something goes wrong, it just can go horribly wrong. So there is this balance between trusting your own voice and making decisions for yourself, and then chronically asking for help, like unable to make a decision. Or if you make a decision, you constantly second guess it, and then you're like freaked out. So you're not only in the state of anxiety in making the decision, you're in a state of anxiety after you've made the decision, until another decision comes up, which keeps you in basically this huge state of anxiety. And, oh my God, the world is too big and I can't handle it. And that's when everything comes crashing in on you. But if you start to be able to listen to your own voice and go, no, I am capable. I know what I like, what I need, and I also know what I don't know. So I'm going to start listening to my voice, start paying attention to me first, And then if I truly go, I'm not sure, to seek guidance from those who we trust, have knowledge in the area of whatever decision we're looking to make, whatever choice we're needing to make. Talking to friends, family, networking people that you know, or reaching out on social media saying, hey, does anybody have any recommendations for such and such? And starting conversations that way. But you have to make sure that that's not going to keep spiraling you. You need to do that with in a discerning way, not like, oh my gosh, Susie said this, and Dan said this, and now I don't know what to do, what's right. Again, that means you're not tapping into your voice. You're not tapping into your own guidance system first. We have been so trained to close out our own voices that we don't even know what they sound like anymore. And that's a problem, right? And so that's my new mission, is to start working with people, talking with people about listening to themselves, getting to know themselves, because self-discovery helps us tap into the intuition, which helps us demolish doubt, because it truly does. When you get really tuned into your intuition and you get really good at it, and you're like, no, you listen to those nudges, right? It's just like, I can take 2 roads from my house into Providence, Rhode Island. The road splits. I can take the bypass, or I can take the one through the neighborhoods in the town. And I take them, as I come up the hill to that split, which one comes into my head? And the one that comes into my head, I take. I don't go, well, I always take the other one. And sometimes this one is that one. And then, you know what, maybe I need this. No, there's no, stop second guessing yourself. I don't second guess myself. Unless I go, oh, but you know, I do need gas, and the gas is if I go through town. Okay, I'm going to go through town. But generally, I'm like, if I'm going, nope, my nudge says take the left, I'm going to take the left. I can get gas there too. It's an extra turn, or stopping somewhere else. It's like, okay, maybe there's a reason for this. So it's listening to that inner voice. And once you start to do it, it becomes easier. So you just have to sort of take that first step and let your inner knowing know that you're listening, right? Go, okay, I'm paying attention. I'm no longer seeking information and nervous on all levels. What is it that I am telling myself? And go, okay, I'm going to do this. Now, if something happens that maybe you weren't planning, and you start to go, oh, I can't make a decision. That was wrong. I knew it. I just shouldn't listen. I don't have any intuition. Nope. It just means that you weren't seeing the thing that you needed to see come from that decision that you made. You were wanting it to look like something. So in order to hear your intuition, you have to open up the idea that your plan for the day might take some detours, or not look exactly the way you had planned it, but it doesn't mean it's coming out wrong. Because let's face it, just because we have a plan doesn't mean that's the right thing to do or what we should be doing. So learning to listen to our own voice allows for the serendipity and for those fabulous synchronicities to happen. And once you start seeing them, you'll see more of them. And that's the beauty of it. I went through a period recently where I was just so tapped into my intuition. Everything just felt easy. And it's funny because it was a week that was mimicking weeks that I have had in my past that would have had me running 1,000,000 miles an hour, stressed out. Oh my God, I'm running late. Oh my God, I have to do this. And I was very much focused on listening to what felt good, instead of, oh my gosh, this is how the plan has to look. And it's funny because not only was I able to actually get more accomplished, I had more fun, was more relaxed, and it just was like, wow, I feel this was a wonderful, fulfilling week. I feel amazing. I'm so happy with my life. Did anything super special happen that week? Nope. I just did the normal things that I have done before, but it was the way in which I did them. I took out the stress, the anxiety, and it was peaceful and lovely. Now, it would be great if we could all live in a constant state like that. And you can get really good at it. You can get better at it. But just so you know, like all these self-improvement practices I talk about, all is just that. It is a practice. So know that just because last week was intuitively led and divine and I felt amazing doesn't mean that this week isn't going to be a little harder for me. And I found myself actually starting to go, and then I'm like, no, I don't need to. So let's just take a few steps and review some of the tools we have and what are we going to do to help us stay out of that. So I was able to course correct myself and go, no, remember, last week went really well. Okay, what can we do to get this week to go really well? I know you have a lot of things to do, and I did. The thing is, I had a lot more things on my plate this week. I had a lot of preparation, going on a trip, so I had like, okay, I want to get the house clean. I have to do this. I had my whole list and my packing, and I have my clients, and I have to do my lives, and like I have to do all the things plus all the other things. And it's like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But when I step back up, I can get all this done. And I can continue to put my workout in there. I don't know. And previously I would have been like, oh, I don't have time to work out. I've got way too much to do. It all has worked out and the time has just opened up. And this is what happens when you truly step into your own intuition, your own inner guidance. It demolishes anxiety. It demolishes doubt because you know everything that is meant for you came to you. Needed to come to you in its right time. And maybe you didn't fully accomplish your list that day, or the plan looked a little different. That's what was meant for you. And as soon as you start seeing that and be grateful for it, the universe is just going to go, oh, well, here, I'll sprinkle some more of that shit on you. You like that? Here's some more. Oh, look at you. I'm going to bury you in that fabulousness. So I highly, highly recommend practicing this. So I wanted to, actually, I am going to pull out my notes just so I can, go back here, so I can just see, because there was something I wanted to make sure I talked about. So I had a post earlier this week on my Instagram about reestablishing connection with your intuition. And my friend Kate Kopylova, fabulous woman, new friend, said, reestablishing is like summoning our inner superhero. Our self-worth is like a hidden gem, and sometimes buried beneath the noise of others' opinions. But hey, we are unstoppable beings, capable of anything we set our minds to. Ugh, I just thought that was delicious and delightful, and I could not have said it any better myself. Thank you, Kate, for that comment. I'm going to scan this. Okay, so here's a few things that you can do to start, retraining yourself, right? So you can, first off, ask yourself, what kind of a decision maker are you? Are you a doubter, or do you jump in and make decisions all on your own? Do you jump in too fast without getting help? Because that also can be a problem. You just jump without thinking, and sometimes there's a difference between following your intuition and jumping without thinking, right? So there's this happy medium. So think about what kind of style you have, because a lot of people haven't. They're like, I don't know. Well, think about it. Get to know yourself, right? And part of getting to know yourself is asking questions of yourself, like you might ask questions of someone new that you've just met. So if you second guess yourself about a decision that you have made, ask, what was the outcome of that decision, right? So why are you second guessing? What was the outcome of that decision? Did I intentionally hurt someone with this decision? Because sometimes we inadvertently hurt people, and it's important to understand how and why and what happened. Growth and understanding happen in this space, and it's important and necessary to experience those things. But what was wrong with the outcome? ask yourself that. And just to sort of plant those seeds of, okay, why am I second guessing? Why am I second guessing this decision? Then if your indecision comes from fear of judgment from others will think, try to shut out those other opinions, right? Because their opinions are just theirs. They're no more valid than yours. They don't know what's right for you. You do. If you are a chronic advice getter, try asking yourself first. Again, listen to your own voice first. If you get the answer, I don't know, because you will, because you're not used to doing it. If you're a chronic advice getter, you're going to be like, I don't know. That's why I get advice. I don't know. I want you to ask yourself what a good outcome might look like, right? So whatever it is you're trying to make a decision on, what would a good outcome, not the best, not the perfect, just what does a good outcome look like? Answer the question. It might look like this. Like if a friend came to you asking for this advice, what would you say to them? That's another way to look at it. Because it's always easier to make decisions for others. So make it about someone else for a minute and see if that helps you settle into your decision. You know, again, get to know yourself like you would a friend or someone new. Now, on the other hand, if you are a chronic advice giver, and I count myself among those as well, hence why I'm a coach, because I love to give advice, I love to help people, but it's ask them what they think before you jump in. Give them room to start exercising this muscle for themselves. Let other people try it for themselves. Trust that they can do this, because when you are a chronic advice giver, that can come from not trusting anybody else. So that's trust issues of a different sort. So that's something to take a look at as well. So I have created a new meditation this week for this very thing. And I will post it in the group again for you. And I hope you enjoy it. Again, listen to it. Let me know what you think. If it's hitting the right tone or if you're finding it helpful. So if you are in the midst of needing to make a decision or you want to maybe tap into that meditation first, listen to the meditation. I think it's 4 minutes and something seconds this time. It's my Find Your Zen in Under 10. So I'm trying to keep these things short because as wonderful it is to spend an hour a day, half an hour a day, whatever, meditating, a quiet place. And it is wonderful, and we should all aspire to that. We don't all have that luxury. And sometimes we need these tools in the midst of a part of a day where we just can't, right? Where we don't have the opportunity. But can we take 3, 4, 5, under 10 minutes? Yeah, I bet we could. We could go out to our car. We could take a walk real fast in the yard. We can, we have a few minutes. And that's what inspired me to start creating these meditations. So I want you to take a listen to the new meditation I've created and see what you think. It's a solar plexus because that's where our self-esteem and our self-trust comes from. And so I created this for that very thing. So I'm excited about that. I'm really enjoying doing these meditations, and I hope you listen to them, take advantage of them, and love to listen to them as well. You can listen to them over and over again. And I want you to remember that we are all a work in progress, and to give yourself grace as you are stretching into uncomfortable places, because that is part of what I am here to do, is to help people stretch into uncomfortable places to create change so that they can start showing up as the person that they truly want to show up as. And so that is what I have to say to you today. Please, please, please watch that video. Like I said, watch it more than once. It's lovely, and it will renew your faith in humanity, if nothing else. And I'd love your feedback. What do you think about this? Do you have a problem making a decision? What kind of a decision maker are you? Are you an chronic advice giver or chronic advice getter? Do you do it all by yourself? You don't trust anybody. Let's start the conversation. And what are some places you go to for advice? Places that you turn to for guidance or people? Share what you do, because that's what this is a community for all of us to share. So So I hope you have an amazing, amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.